Before we get to the Tempest Trials rewards, if you have not noticed, there are some weird things going on right now with Fire Emblem Heroes. Out of nowhere, Book 2 related characters are getting tons of spotlight. There was a Chibi version play of the Book 2 story. Fjorm got a whole 3D music video which even featured Commander Anna in 3D, who never appeared in any of the Fate animated cutscenes until now. Then we have this Ice and Flame Tempest Trials event. Unlike usual, it has nothing to do with these summer units and instead recapped Fjorm's Rite of Frost ritual back in Book 2. This time though, we were shown the Dragon God Niffle, and she is the Tempest Trials boss for some reason. She's the very first Cavalry Dragon unit, and this Tempest Trials event is part 1 of 2, meaning next month we are probably getting more weird stuff. Why are we getting all of this all of a sudden? I have no clue, but it's neat so far, and I guess we'll see where it takes us. As for the actual Tempest Trials event, as usual, for earning the maximum 50,000 points, you can earn up to 42 orbs, 11,000 feathers, and 80 sacred coins. This month, we got Ephraim 7 divine codes, and you can get a water blessing to match legendary Byleth. For sacred seals, we got Speed and Res Form and Infantry Rush. Then for our reward unit, we got Summer Norne, who we will discuss later. You can get a 4-star and 5-star copy, and she is a fantastic unit. First, let's discuss our 2 new Sacred Seals. Speed and Res Form 3 states if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grant Speed and Res plus X to unit during combat. X is equal to 2 times the number of allies within 2 spaces, and you add +1 to that. This has a total of +7 speed and res, and you would need 3 nearby allies to match that. Form skills offer a little bit of range, but you need at least 2 allies in that range to match the bond skills. If you stick together with lots of units, then forms come out on top, although if you only have 1 nearby ally, at least you still get something. Form skills are okay stat boosters meant for more defensive formations, kind of just like the bond skills. They are kind of outclassed in the A slots since there are just so many strong options, but I think they work nicely as Sacred Seals as secondary stat boosters. Certainly not must upgrades immediately, but if you got extra coins and want speed and res boost, then this one's not bad at all. Second, we got Infantry Rush 3. Infantry allies within 2 spaces gain if unit's attack is greater than foe's attack, grants special cooldown charge +1 per unit's attack. In simpler terms, grant Heavy Blade 3 to nearby allies. Heavy Blade is a fun special cooldown skill that works best for high attack units. With Infantry Rush, you can give allies Heavy Blade and free up a skill slot, which is pretty cool. It is only equipable by infantry units, and it doesn't give the user Heavy Blade, so it is a support skill only. Recently we got Dual Hilda, whose staff grants special charge on enemy attacks. Unfortunately, she's a flyer, so she cannot combine her staff with Infantry Rush to simulate the breath type skills. You would need a separate infantry unit to run Infantry Rush, and then both of them would pass the effects to a 3rd infantry unit on your team. There are some units who have weapons that allow this, like Owain's Mistletoe. If you can get a teammate to use Infantry Rush and Owain has more attack than the enemy, he will get special charge +1 for attacking and getting hit. Of course, this is just what Brave Lucina does with her Refine, which is why it's so powerful. In general, I don't see Infantry Rush in the C slot very often, but it's still a neat skill. It's a bit niche, but if you have an infantry team who comes together often and they'll have high attack around, then it may have some value. Honestly, I think it may be better in the C slot, and it's available on 3-star Brady if you want to try it out. Definitely not an immediate upgrade either, since it has a couple conditions to fulfill, but more special cooldown is always appreciated if you can get it.
I'm so relaxed. It's hard to believe we're usually fighting. Oh hey, are you hungry? Cause I brought us lunch.
To start things off, let me just start by saying that I am tempted to +10 Summer Norne because once again, she's going to be an incredible free-to-play friendly unit. The OG Archer Norne is one of the best merge projects in the game because of her balanced stat spread with good amounts of speed. She's extremely flexible build-wise, making her a fun unit to 3-craft, and she doesn't have a lot of competition until Young Innis came around this year. Well, Summer Norne is in a very similar position. She is a Lance Infantry unit, and unlike Lance Cavaliers or Lance Flyers, we do not have any Heroic Grail Lance Infantry yet. In fact, we only have 3 low rarity summonable Lance Infantry units, which is going to make Summer Norne a prime unit to build. This is what happens when all the games in the series don't feature any infantry lance wielding classes barely. Enough pandering, Summer Norne is going to have 42 HP, 37 attack, 39 speed, 31 defense, and 27 resistance. She has the exact same defensive stat line as her OG form, but as a melee unit, Summer Norne has +5 attack and +3 more speed to work with. She has speed and res super boons, so you can choose to go fast or get a balanced set of defenses. I will show it later, but basically Summer Norne is in her own class if you want a fast lance infantry unit. She isn't outdoing the 5 stars like Summer Leone was, but there's just so little options for this class type that if you want a plus 10 merge project, Norne will be very sought after. For her inheritable weapon, Summer Norne has the Shell Point Lance Plus. This is a 14-weight weapon that grants a plus 6 defense field buff if the user is within 3 spaces of an ally at the start of the turn. Additionally, if they are within 3 spaces of an ally when fighting, they get plus 5 attack and defense during combat. Shell Point Lance is basically the same type of weapon as Summer Ogma's Trident Plus. The only difference is that Shell Point Lance grants a defense field buff and the Trident grants an attack field buff. Norne and Ogma can use either weapon, it just depends on which field buff you would prefer. These are very easy to activate weapons that grant attack and defense as long as you're somewhat near anyone on your team. Even if you run solo skills, having 3 spaces to work with is a pretty generous base range. Not the craziest weapons out there, but you can stack a lot of stats very easily. For example, Shell Point Lance with the defense refine would be able to hit plus 15 total defense, and you get plus 5 attack as well. Now for her base kit, Norne has Reciprocal Aid as her assist skill. She has Speed and Defense Bond 3 as her A skill, so that does incentivize staying near the team. Norne will also have Drive Speed 2 to support her allies, and it's a perfectly fine buffing C skill. Not the fanciest base kit around, and everything at least works together somewhat. Nothing is a must keep, although if you're gonna go for a plus 10 merge project, you're probably gonna end up swapping out a lot of this. Speaking of merging, if you don't want to spend trait fruits, Norne will get plus 1 HP, attack, and speed for her neutral nature. That's fine, but if you care about arena scoring, Norne has 176 BST, which means you're going to need to take one of her super boons to hit the next scoring bin. Luckily, a speed or res super boon work very nicely for Norne, although I think 4 more speed is a bit more impactful. She may not have the highest defensive stats, but since merging is going to give you HP and things like blessings or summon support add plus 5 HP, Norne's going to do just fine fighting any type of unit. Next, let's look at Summer Norne's free-to-play competition, or rather lack of competition. If you want a fast lance infantry unit, there is no one that comes close. Sharena has the 2nd highest base speed, and that's pretty bad since she can't get merges. Fjorm's technically free since you get a free copy from the story, but obviously if you want merges, you're going to need to get her from the legendary banners. She did get a pretty nice refine though, so Fjorm's going to be okay. As for summonable 3 to 4 star units, there are only 3 options: Donnie, Obero, and Lucas. Not only does Summer Norne have more than 10 speed than all of them, but she has the most attack as well. Norne is easily worth the Heroic Grail cost if you want a solid, speedy lance infantry merge project. For non-5 star only units, Norne's only competition comes from Summer, Ogma, and Pirate Geese. Ogma's the 4-star focus unit on this current banner, which is so strange because him and Norne have very similar offensive spreads. He has more HP and defense, but Norne's got a lot more resistance. Summer Norne and Ogma can definitely run similar builds, so the choice is up to you. It's just that Norne is obtainable with Heroic Grails, and you're going to need to face RNG to get Ogma or Geese. For a lot of players, if you really want a plus 10 project, you can basically guarantee it with Norne if you save up. Not to mention, we just had a 3 houses banner, and next month is probably Choose Your Legends. It's a tight season for ARB spending, so if you aren't particularly attached to any one character, the choice is pretty obvious. 100% we will see some plus 10 Summer Nornes in the future. For fun, I listed a couple of the fast 5-star infantry lancers. Summer Norne isn't really going to outdo some of these guys and their unique skills, but that's okay, she's a free Heroic Grail unit. We have more than enough inheritable lances to work with. This leads into our build ideas, starting with budget skills and Norne's base kit. With Shell Point Lance, Norne will get 11 extra defense to work with, so if you want, you could refine for plus 4 res or plus 3 speed. With speed and defense bond, we can grab a bond sacred seal like attack and speed bond. Then if you want more buffs, you could run something like Speed and Res Link. This would give Norne plus 6 to 3 different stats, and you got the in-combat buffs behind that. If you want some other skills or options, you could try Attack and Defense form from Grim Zealot, and we got the new Speed and Res form Seal. Guard or Attack Smoke work for any situation, and if you are going to be next to allies, you could run the wave buffs. You don't have to stay too far, but the Shell Point Lance can definitely work with Swift Sparrow or solo Sacred Seals. You can get Wrath from a couple of other Grail units, which could be fun, and the third one has Speed and Res Oath, which could replace Speed and Res Link if you only care about buffing Norne herself. With all the bond, stance, and now form Sacred Seals around, you have a lot of customization options. I would definitely try to grab at least one more speed increase in skill though. Now, for the fun part, this time I've got 6 different weapons with 6 different types of builds you can try. Summer Norne is pretty much like a Lance version of Ninja Hana, and the 2 of them can pretty much run anything just fine. I tried to pick different skills, but please mix and match whatever you can get your hands on. Starting with Choke Point Lance, a good A skill for it is the new Ideal skill line. These require 100% HP on the user or an active bonus, and Choke Point Lance gives you a defense field buff. If you wanted, you could run a Rally plus Ruse combo to apply debuffs for the team, and you can upgrade Drive Speed to Joint Drive Speed. Speed and Res form works nicely as a Sacred Seal to add more resistance, but you can also go with a Bond, Stance, or Solo skill. Next, we can use the Guilt Fork, which is in Divine Code Shop. Plus 5 attack and defense, and neutralize attack and defense debuffs when near allies. A more defensive weapon, and we can run it with a tier 3 dual stance. I think a speed one would be nice, but those are definitely pretty hard to get. Low attack and speed or attack and defense would be good, and you can run speed and res oath again to run add or get some extra resistance. While not a core skill, I think Brazen defense and res could be fun with this kind of build, since you do want to fight multiple times and just be annoying to take down. Third weapon I have listed is the Spirited Spear Plus, also from the Divine Code Shop. If a bonus is active, it grants +4 attack and defense and special cooldown charge +1 on enemy hits. It comes from Gatry, who has Fortress Defense and Res 3, which I think could work with another defensive type build. Since we need a bonus active, what better than the new Menace C skills? Norne could tank a hit, then counter back with Noontime or Moonbow. If you want to run higher cooldown specials, Special Spiral or again Wrath could be used once you get the ball rolling. Now, I have Infantry Rush shown here, but that's to just put on an ally to give to the Spirited Spear. Like with a Wayne, this combo could give you +1 special charge on any action, assuming you win the attack check. Maybe in that case, you don't want to run a Fortress skill. Fourth weapon on the left is what I imagine you will see a lot. Flowing Lance, Distant Counter, Dodge B skill, and a solo Sacred Seal. Flowing Lance is a solo type weapon from Pirate Geese that inflicts attack and defense debuffs and neutralizes attack and defense field buffs. With dodge skills, you can reduce a lot of damage while maintaining good speed with a Spirit Refine and skills like Rouse Speed and Defense or Speed and Res solo. You could also run double solo skills for more efficient melee combat. Fifth is the Candy Cane from Winter Hilda, who was a 4-star focus unit. If you have this weapon, it grants +5 attack and defense and guard when nearby allies. Super simple, but very strong effects. You can then pile on more effects to stop other types of skills. Unity A skills stop debuffs, No Follow-Up stops follow-up shenanigans, Fatal Smoke stops healing. These skills can go on so many different builds, and that includes something like Mystic Boost if you just want some extra healing every single fight. Last weapon is the Springy Lance from Spring Minerva, another 4-star focus unit. This lance grants +5 attack and speed and neutralizes attack and speed penalties when facing healthy foes, which is nearly all the time. It's a great offensive choice, and Norne can easily go for the standard player phase skills like Swift Sparrow, low speed and defense, and Flashing Blade. She could run Times Pulse plus Gale Force with this set, and like we talked about for our other banner units, you can run No Follow-Up to guarantee doubles. So many possibilities, and there are still more available. Ninja Yari Brave Lance, Fire Sweep, Barrier Lance, Guard Lance, Slaying Spear for arm units. I forgot to mention, it's Curtains from Hot Springs Roma, who was a random ephemeral comment menu earlier. Lofty Blossoms can replace Springy Lance for attack and speed stacking. Then there is the good old Slaying Lance. I could go on and on, but otherwise, if you want some inspiration, go check out builds used on Ninja Hana, since there are a lot of +10 projects roaming around. For some final thoughts, our 2 Sacred Seals are neat but not immediate upgrades. I personally have been liking the attack and defense form seal, so I'll probably upgrade speed and res form as well. Infantry Rush is technically kinda niche, but if you have room for it on a high attack infantry team, then it could lead to some interesting combos for other allies. As for Summer Norne, I think I've gushed about her enough. If you want a speedy lance infantry unit, there is literally no competition for that role from low rarity summonable units. The closest we have are seasonal 4-star focus units, and Summer Norne is literally our one and only Heroic Grail Lance infantry unit. She's got a great stat spread for +10 merging, and she's going to have tons of flexible build options depending on what inheritable weapon you give her. I see a lot of regular Archer Norns out there, and I'm expecting to see a lot of Summer Norns joining her as well. Norne is literally the free-to-play goddess, and this time you won't need RNG to get 11 copies of her. I'm very surprised we got 2 stellar Summer Tempest Trials units this year, but I'm not complaining. Feels like they've made up for the lackluster Cav units we were getting for a while. That's all I got for now. Thank you for watching, and please go get Summer Norne at the very least. See you in the next video.